Welcome to episode number 1 of the LinkedIn Ads Makeover show. In this show, what we're going to be doing is taking a look at different B2B SaaS and software companies' different LinkedIn campaigns. Okay, so if right now, you're running LinkedIn campaigns and you're trying to figure out, how can I increase the overall performance, how can I increase conversions, reduce, cost per lead, and you're just looking for an overall better performance of your LinkedIn advertising campaigns, then this is gonna be the show for you. Okay, so in episode number 1, we're going to be reviewing Fleet.io. Now, I don't know whether it's Fleet.io or it's Fleet.io. Okay, so guys, if the founders are watching this, or if anyone from the company is watching this, please let me know. I'm assuming it's Fleet.io, but yeah, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this. So these guys right now, they're currently running one type of campaign. So it's just like one ad set, and they're running this kind of one creative ad that you can see on the screen here. So a few things that I would know about this campaign, and what I'm going to do kind of every episode is I'm going to show the current version of the ad, and then I'm going to kind of, show the improved version with, the copy that I would write and how I would kind of, describe the software and how I would go about, creating an ad. Okay. So let's kind of go through this, and let's kind of start picking apart some things that I would personally kind of be looking to improve and looking to kind of change, if that makes sense. Okay, so the first thing I would know is in kind of if we focus on the main part of copy here, so where it says request a free demo of Fleetio managed today, no credit card required. Okay. So what I would say about that is, the first thing I would say is a free demo is not a strong enough offer. Okay, I see so many like software and SaaS companies doing this. They'll offer like a free trial or like a free demo, a free ebook, right? And the thing is, I always compare this, to kind of something like B2C, right? Like, would someone ever, want to request a free consultation with their doctor? No, because it's boring. Right. But for some reason in the B2B world, we think that, people want to have a free demo. Right. But at the end of the day, people are still people. Right. We're not speaking to robots here. We're not speaking to people who are insanely boring. OK, people want to be excited. They want to, have some kind of incentivized offer that actually, means something to them, is valuable, but at the same time is, a bit more exciting than a free demo. Right. Because, what you've got to remember is people are not reading this just on the surface level, i.e., here's a free demo. They're reading, oh, okay, here's a free sales pitch, right? Because, we all know, a free consultation, a free demo, especially if you're in like the software and just general, business world, you really know that a demo means a sales pitch. Okay. So, what I would really do is try and come up with a more exciting offer, whether it's like a free training, a free webinar. You could send them out like a package. There's so many ways you could go about doing this. And I just think that, free demos, it's such a weak offer. And to me, sometimes it's no wonder that companies on LinkedIn are having incredibly high, cost per leads and cost per clicks when they're having, really, really weak offers. Okay. Now, also as well, and I, if you guys have been watching my SaaS landing page review show, you'll also know I mention this all the time. And it's that, companies, especially with this one here, what you're doing here is you're really selling the fleet management software, right? We're not really selling the solution to the problem that they're experiencing. We're just saying, okay, hey, look, we've got a fleet maintenance software. If you're in this space, use our software, right? The thing is, like I said, people are not buying softwares, right? Robots might buy softwares, right? AI in the future might buy softwares, right? But people are not buying softwares, right? People make, emotionally charged buying decisions. They don't make logical, I'm going to buy a software today, right? People are not waking up and going, okay, I want to buy a fleet management software, right? They're buying solutions, okay, to the problem that they have. Okay. And that comes across everything in the B2C market. If someone wants to buy a better t-shirt, it's because they want to look better, whatever, right? You always whenever you're writing ad copy, it should really, really speak to that person. Okay. And really, really kind of agitate that problem, really kind of, relate with them. Okay. On a very kind of, deeper level. Okay. So, whenever you're writing ad copy, always try and, speak to the problem, not the fleet management software that you're selling. Okay. Now, something else as well that I would say, I always see these type of images. It's either like this type of like animated types. I call it like the animated SAS background, right? I always see these type of images, or I see like the traditional, five business people sitting in like an office room, one of them like classic stock photos, right? You really want to avoid using these type of images, okay? And the number one reason is because, it blends in with the background, right? These types of images on LinkedIn, right? It just 100% blends in with the background, okay? If you're honestly not using video ads, especially going into 2020, you are severely limiting yourself, okay? And especially on a platform like LinkedIn, where there's not much video right now, especially not with ads, I really think what would do really, really well on LinkedIn is then kind of, Dollar Shave Club like ads where it's, very kind of entertaining, it's very funny. I think it's what the B2B world needs, right? The B2B world, fundamentally, it needs more kind of, entertaining dollar, kind of Dollar Shave Club like ads, right? And I think if you can really kind of come up with some, creative ad where you're, really kind of like, for instance, maybe, I know with your guys' software, I know you mentioned that I went on your website and I know you mentioned that like a lot of, fleet where companies, need to kind of do this type of thing, traditionally they're doing it with very kind of, traditional methods, paper-based methods. So you could create an ad where it was like, a funny kind of traditional ad where you've got someone who's, a company that's very, traditional and old, and it's like from the 1800s, right? And then, you guys come in and you're like this modern software, right? You just want to come up with creative ways that kind of, that are kind of around the ad. Okay, you want to kind of have creative forms of of different types of advertising that you can really speak to. Okay, now the final thing I would mention as well is there's no well, number one, there's no actual headline on this ad, which is a big mistake. Okay, but there's no, if you were going to use a headline, I would use something called a pain provoking headline. Okay, I see a lot of founders, I'm going to mention this really quickly because it's on my mind. A lot of founders, they make a big mistake when they're using a headline. Okay, they think of the headline as the kind of classic CTA button, right? It could be something like, usually the headlines that I see are like download our free ebook, or watch our free webinar, click the button to download your free white paper. It's very kind of CTA driven or button driven headlines, right? What you've got to remember is, the first thing that people see, let me go back. The first thing that people see when they're scrolling through LinkedIn on your ad is your headline. Okay. The headline, just like on a landing page, it's a lot of the time the first thing people see. Okay. So you do not want to make your CTA, download our free ebook. Because if you imagine if someone is scrolling through, their LinkedIn feed, and the first thing and the very kind of first thing they see is your headline and it says download our free ebook. Number one, they're going to have no idea what this ebook is because they've not read the copy. So you want to make the headline something that they're gonna is going to be the first thing that person reads when they're scrolling through LinkedIn and they see your ad. Okay, so all the headline should really do is just get their attention. Okay, so the headline gets their attention. They then read the copy. They're interested, and then they click the button. Okay, the headline is not the the kind of classic CTA button or the the download. The headline is what you want to avoid the headlines where it's like download our free ebook or click the button to watch our free webinar. Okay, because the headline is what gets the attention of your audience when they're scrolling through the feed. Okay. Now, what I've done is I've basically, and what I'm going to do every single episode, I've already got about 7 lined up, is I'm going to basically do what I've done here. So this is kind of, all the problems that I've found. And then what I've then done is I've kind of like written out, almost like an improved version of how I would kind of go about, explaining this software. Okay, so here we've got the kind of main copy of the ad, which is this bit here. And then I've then, kind of rewrote or created an entirely new headline in this case because they've not got one for this ad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is really kind of quickly read this out and kind of explain why I've kind of explained the software in this manner. Okay, so first of all, let's read it out. So having difficulty managing your fleet operations, ? Here at Fleetio, we know how hard it can be to manage your fleet operations, especially if you're still relying on paper-based processes. Click the button below to watch our free webinar on how you can get rid of outdated paper-based processes this week using Fleetio. Okay. And then the ad headline is still using traditional methods to manage your fleet operations. Question mark. Okay. So what I'll first of all do is kind of run through, why I've kind of, wrote the headline, kind of, wrote the main copy like this, and then I'll kind of explain the headline. Okay. So first of all, what we're doing is we're calling out the problem. Okay. We're just, what we want to happen is we want, that company that are, currently managing fleet operations, okay, maybe with traditional methods, they're scrolling through their LinkedIn feed, maybe like the CEO, the CFO, whoever's buying the software, okay, they're scrolling through their LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden, boom, okay, they see this ad and they're like, it should 100% just speak to one type of person. Okay. A big, big, big problem that a lot of companies and software companies make with their advertising, especially on LinkedIn, where you can go very, very narrow and very, very targeted with your campaigns, is they try and speak to 10 different people. Okay. It's never going to work. Okay. And if it does work, it's going to be very, very, generic and ineffective. Okay. So because of how targeted you can get on LinkedIn, okay, you want to make your copy as specific and, problem talking as possible. Okay. Now, the reason why we kind of, go here at Fleetio, we know how hard it can be. Really what we're doing here in this kind of second line is we're introducing the problem, and we're further kind of, if you guys have been watching my kind of, landing page review show, you know that I talk about this, and really all we're doing is just agitating the problem. We're relating with them. Okay. I always say, you want to almost like write your ads like you're writing to a pissed off or an annoyed friend. Okay. Because if if you just like write it like most, if you're writing your ads like most B2B software companies are doing right now, where it's very kind of stale, it's very like, it's like they're literally talking to the Queen, or they're talking to, some AI robot, and it's just so robotic. Okay. That person is not going to relate with it. Okay. You want to write your ads like you're writing to a really, really annoyed friend, because you've got to remember, people make buying decisions and people take, a big, big action, okay, based on emotion. They're not, making buying decisions based on, logic a lot of the time. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, there are cases where people are making logical decisions, okay, and there will be, logic involved. But especially where, you've got to get their attention, it has to be emotionally driven and emotionally charged. Okay. So, like I said, we're first of all calling out the problem and getting their attention, and we're doing that with the headline as well. Okay. And then what we're doing is we're further agitating the problem, talking about how, paper-based processes are completely, old. They're a nightmare to use. They're very traditional, and you need a new way to do it. Okay. So we're agitating the problem. Okay. And we're then giving them an opportunity. Okay. You've got to remember here, I see so many, software companies doing this. They'll be like, but using our software, you can do this and you can do this, and we have all these features, and we have the most advanced training system, and we have the most advanced fleet operations system in the world, and they start rambling on about all these different features. And it's kind of like, if you just went up to a girl, right, you've never spoke to this girl before, again, you could be it could be a man, and you just go up and go, will you marry me? Okay. It's exactly like that. So many software companies, they want to just, ramble on and on and on, and just, say everything on the ad about how great their software is. Okay. When, to be honest, the audience doesn't really care. Okay. So all we're doing here with this ad is we're introducing the problem, getting their attention. Okay. Further agitating that problem and kind of relating with them. Okay. And then giving them an opportunity, okay, to get back on the path, okay, to getting rid of these, in this case, paper-based processes and traditional ways of doing LinkedIn advertising. Okay. So guys, I hope you've really, really enjoyed this kind of new show. I'm going to be doing this every single day. I thought that, there's just so many companies right now that are not doing this right, that are, if they're running LinkedIn campaigns, because I think it's still, just like Facebook was, it's still a very kind of, new platform for advertising. So I think this could be a really, really useful show if you're, maybe a CMO right now who is about to start running campaigns, going into 2020, if you're, looking to kind of, run these campaigns for your own SaaS business, whatever. I just think it's going to be a really, really useful thing that, I can kind of touch on different kind of, different campaigns where I think, companies can really, really improve, certain things within their campaigns. Okay. So guys, I hope you've really, really enjoyed this, and I will see you guys tomorrow for episode number 2 of the LinkedIn Ad Makeover Show.